Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been following along on my braces journey. Today I am going to talk to you guys about the things that I wish I knew before I got braces. I have 10 things and a little bit of advice. So I just wanted to talk you guys through kind of what my experience has been with over the last 2 years and things that you might find helpful or want to know before you start the process, or if you're just beginning, also some things to think about. So the first one that I never really thought about was that all plans are specific. They're specific to you, your face shape, the shape of your teeth, what needs to be done, and the orthodontist themselves, what practices they like, what appliances that they prefer to use. They're kind of artists in that way, where they have specific methods that other orthodontists don't like to use, or just what they prefer, what they see the best results with, and so on. So it's good to get more than one consultation, just so you can kind of weigh your options, see how you feel, see what the plan is going to be, what you're comfortable with, what you're comfortable with price-wise, what you're comfortable with as far as the person who is doing your treatment. It is a doctor that you're dealing with, that you're seeing every 4 to 9 or 12 weeks. You're going in constantly, you're communicating with them, and you want to make sure that you feel comfortable with them, that you feel comfortable with the plan, because there are a lot of things that you have to follow. So you kind of have to agree with what they're doing and be comfortable with your own treatment on your time and being able to communicate with your orthodontist. So I had 3 consultations, 2 orthodontists and an oral surgeon, and they all said the same thing about my treatment. And so I went with the orthodontist that I felt the most comfortable with, and even though it was more expensive than some of the others, I really felt like she was going to discuss things with me. She was going to be fine in communication back and forth with my questions, and I felt really comfortable with how she made me feel and went through the entire process and plan and everything of what she wanted to do for my braces journey. So the other thing, number 2, would be that extractions are a thing. I had never heard of anyone having teeth extracted for braces treatment. I had heard of people having their wisdom teeth taken out, which I did have taken out in my mid-20s, but I just assumed that you kept the teeth that were in your mouth and they straightened them out, and that was it. So it was just like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You get braces and they do their thing, and that's it. So it made me really nervous when they said the word extractions and told me how many teeth I had to have removed, and I wasn't sure what that was going to do. And I came home and I researched it a lot, and I still couldn't really find anything pro or con. There were very few statements at all. And so if you've watched some of my other videos, you will see that's exactly why I started this channel in the first place, was to document it for someone else who, might be searching like I was and not be able to find anything. And I know there are a lot of people out there that want to keep all their teeth, or it makes them really nervous too, or there's some orthodontists that say like you absolutely never remove healthy teeth for any reason. And it can be true in a lot of cases, but it was something that I felt comfortable with, given what my orthodontist talked me through and showed me on my x-rays, how my teeth were just very large, and I had a very small jaw. I didn't have very much bone to work with, and keeping all of my teeth was going to result in things like teeth flaring, which I'll show you a picture here of what I mean. And some people aren't bothered by that, but it's something that I really did not want for myself. I wanted my teeth straight up and down. I'll show you a comparison of what I mean. And my teeth they're completely able to fit in my mouth now. I have a nice wide arch, just like everyone else, but I do have a very small mouth and small jaw, so I did not want to have teeth flaring, and that is something that would have happened if I had kept those teeth. And along with flaring you will also wind up, sorry about that. When you have 4 kids, you have child interruptions at every corner. But I was saying, when you have teeth flaring, you also have the possibility of having these spaces, black triangles between your teeth, because too much of the root of your tooth is showing, and that is also something that I did not want at the end of my treatment. So I felt very comfortable getting my extractions done, and I don't have my braces off yet, but I can see that I am extremely pleased with how mine came out. So if the orthodontist tells you you need extractions, don't feel stressed about it. Do ask a lot of questions, do get second opinions, and do weigh the pros and cons of what exactly you are looking for in your end result. Number 3 goes along with the extractions. I know a lot of people had said, they had told me that there would be, it would pull all of your teeth back, and it would make your chin recede, and it would collapse your sinuses and all kinds of things like that, which did not happen. That would happen if you had room for them and they took them out anyway. And a lot of people, I just assumed that when you have braces that they just even out your teeth and your teeth change and nothing else. But that's not always the case. And when you have a case like mine where my teeth were so severely crowded, my arch, I'll post some pictures here too, was really in a square. It went back very far, and in the front was just very straight across. I had my cuspids were coming out from up top and were pushed out forward. My cuspid on the bottom was in the front below my incisors on the bottom, and so I just had a lot of crowding. My arch was very misshapen, and so as we straightened my teeth out, I did have a lot of structural changes, and that was one thing that I didn't really think about, was how braces work. And the arch wires, the titanium arch wires that they put on your teeth attached to the brackets, they have a memory, and they pull your teeth back into the original shape. So there's that constant pull to pull your teeth to be in that perfect arch. And the way that that works is that the pulling of your teeth and the pressure that it puts on the bone actually disintegrates the bone in its path and then rebuilds bone in behind it, where that empty space is now going to be, which is just really, really cool. I don't know if I can find a video. I can see if I can insert a picture or video or something in there. So essentially, the braces are disintegrating bone and recreating bone in its path, which is going to change the shape of your arches and jawline, cheekbones and such. And in some cases, if you just have very minor things or teeth that are twisted and turned, that's not going to make a huge difference in your appearance. But in my case, my teeth were so severely crowded and everything was pushed so far in that it did create a lot of facial changes. And I'll post a picture here of what I mean by that and the changes that I noticed in my face, which they're very subtle, but you can expect some slight facial changes. I have talked to people that it took a lot of getting used to, or they didn't really care for it, the changes that it made to their face. In my case, I feel like it did more good than harm. The next thing that I noticed, this would be number 4, was your speech pattern can change, and sometimes it's because you have bite blocks or appliances or things in your mouth that are causing you to speak differently. Maybe you have a lisp. But for me, I think it was around 8 months or so, around that time I noticed that my teeth were just banging together when I spoke, and it was driving me crazy because my teeth were very sensitive, and when I was trying to make sounds where my teeth were touching, they would just bang together, and I was making faces every time it happened and grimacing. And I started watching back some of my videos and things that I had put on Instagram, and I noticed that because of how my teeth were shifted before, in order to make certain sounds, I was constantly moving my jaw off to the side to make my teeth touch, because they wouldn't touch in the center, which is a speech pattern that I had developed because of my teeth being very crooked. And so I had to teach myself how to speak with straight teeth, and so I started having to talk really slow and be very aware of where my jaw was going when I spoke. And it took me about a month to like stop doing those things and to just have it be a normal speech pattern. But it also changed some of my facial muscles. You could see like one side of my face was kind of overworked because of the constant like talking and moving my jaw off to the other side. So that kind of evened out too, which was very strange, but it also resulted in some facial differences based on the muscles that I was using. Number 5, my bite has never, I shouldn't say never, it has very rarely fit during the last 2 years. Everything has kind of been off. It doesn't really feel right. You know, the molars aren't aligned properly. And so it can be kind of uncomfortable, and you kind of feel like you don't really know how your jaw is supposed to be sitting, or things are hitting improperly, or sometimes after adjustments I'll have teeth that are hitting brackets and I have to be really careful. So it's kind of something that you're always thinking about, and in that way it can be kind of all-consuming. So I was kind of annoying. Which leads me to number 6. You will be sore in some way all the time. And sometimes it is only when you're chewing. Sometimes it's a tightness all over. After adjustments, it's especially for like 4 days, everything's kind of sore and tender and achy, and you know, you can take medicine for it, or you know, just deal with it. Sometimes teeth are clicking, which is very strange, but if you get braces, you'll know what I mean. Sometimes they get loose and wiggly, which can be extremely unnerving, but they're not going anywhere. They are attached to that arch wire. But sometimes it's certain teeth, sometimes it's all of your teeth. If you get a power chain or a new wire or something, everything will be kind of tender, and sometimes you'll feel just one specific tooth hurting. So you can just kind of expect that. I don't know what I was thinking that braces were going to do or feel like, but I didn't really expect it to be something feeling off every single day of my treatment, which it has been. And then I've had elastics for about 2 months, and that has caused a lot of headaches. I did have a crazy setup for shifting my midline, which was 3 bands. They were heavy, they were very tight. I could hardly talk or move my jaw. And I got migraines once or twice a week the entire time that I had that setup. My new setup now has caused a few light headaches, but nothing serious. But it does cause, it's a lot of tension and pulling, and that can just create headaches. So I always make sure that I have Tylenol available in my purse, in my car, just because you just really never know when those headaches are going to hit, and that is a pretty common side effect of braces. As far as your treatment goes, it seems like everyone that I've talked to, and in my own experience, gaps are unimportant to your orthodontist. The first part of the treatment is aligning the roots, getting the teeth all straight and where they should be, and usually at the very tail end, they'll start closing the gaps. And I know that when you first get braces, if it's 4 gaps or you have extractions, it can be really annoying to think that like nothing is happening, I just want these gaps gone. And your orthodontist. Sorry guys, I'm doing this on my phone and it gave me a time limit, which I have never reached before, so I guess this is going to be a longer video. So anyway, gaps are one of the very last things that they work on. It is all about getting the roots aligned, getting the teeth in the right position, following along that arch line. So I know while gaps can be really annoying, especially because I had some open up in the front that you could see when I smiled all the time, your orthodontist will get to it. Don't worry about it. It's one of those things that they make sure is done near the end of your treatment before they start doing little refinements and things. So while they may be super important to you, it's a end of the treatment kind of thing for the majority of people. So number 9, this has been something that I decided from the beginning of my treatment that I was going to take the first available appointment that they had, and I was going to make it to every single one. Whatever it took, I was going to make those appointments so that my treatment would be the shortest it possibly could be. And that is one thing that my orthodontist has said prolongs people's treatment a lot of times, is that they'll set their appointments at like way more convenient times, or they'll miss them and they'll reschedule, or something will come up, and you constantly get these weeks added. And if you think, you make a few changes or you miss an appointment, you're going to be in braces for an extra 2, 4, 6 months. So for me, I just made the very first appointment that they had available every single time, and I've made it to every single appointment so that my treatment could be as short as possible. So keep that in mind when you're scheduling your appointments. Every time you push further and further, you're just adding more time to your treatment. Number 10, and this is the biggest one. No one else cares about your braces. Like, talk about it, sure, it's what's going on in your life, but if you're talking about what your friends are going to think, what your coworkers are going to think, what people are going to think when you're interviewing for jobs or going out on dates or just being out in public in general, no one cares. And most of the time, no one even notices. It's all just this self-conscious thing that we are constantly thinking about and thinking that other people are thinking about it, and it's not. It's just part of what we're doing for our bodies right now. If you broke your leg or your arm and you had a cast, or you had surgery and you're walking with a cane or something, you're not thinking that people are constantly like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that she's walking around like that, or that they're even thinking about it at all. And that's kind of how it was with braces, where the majority of the time I would say something and my friends were like, oh, I completely forgot that you even had them. And it's just one of those things that it's all consuming to us, and it can seem like, oh my goodness, little kids do this and not adults, but there are so many adults that do it. And I did join some Facebook groups and tagged some or subscribed to some people on YouTube that are also my age and going through the same thing, and it kind of helps build this like confidence and camaraderie as you go through it. So definitely find some people, maybe even go through it together with somebody. I know couples who have gotten them together. For me, my mom, my best friend, and my sister decided to get them when I did, so we've all been going through it together, which has been really fun, and having somebody to talk to. So those are the things that I wish I knew. And now on to the advice. Take photos. Take so many photos. Decide in the beginning what angles you want to do. I take them from a front view, a profile view, smiling each way, and then take pictures of my arch on the bottom and on the top, which can be a little tricky, but figure it out, get comfortable with it, take a ton of pictures, because sometimes it's very subtle little changes that are happening, and looking back on what things have happened can really help kind of encourage you along in the process and not be feeling like it's taking forever or nothing is happening. It's why I started this YouTube channel in the first place, and it's really nice to kind of have access to that and see all of those different things. And actually, if I hadn't been taking the videos, I wouldn't even have noticed the changes in how I needed to change my speaking and why my teeth were banging together. So definitely do it. I also started an Instagram, so I didn't drive all my friends and family crazy. just an Instagram strictly for braces, and I can post all my pictures there and just easily scroll through and see the dates or when things were, what wires they put in, all those things that you tend to forget if you don't like write it down right away, which is really cool. Stay hydrated. Getting sores from the brackets and elastics and things happens really easily, but it happens more often if your mouth is dry, if you need lots of water. So stay on top of your water. Lip balm is going to be life. Find one that you love and buy 10 of them. Keep them in every room of the house, in the pocket of your pants, in your purse, in your car, everything, because you don't want your lips getting dried out, which can happen a lot. One, if you're dehydrated, and two, just because you've got something in there soaking up all of the saliva and giving you chapped lips. So lip balm. Cleanings are so important while you are in your treatment. It is, even like, I water pick, I floss, I brush my teeth after every meal. I even have like a dental kit that I can keep things clean with, but it is really hard to accurately get like everything just really, really clean. So every 3 to 6 months during your treatment, especially before you get them put on, and then just subsequently, stay on top of it. You don't want to wind up with crazy staining or cavities or things like that when you're all finished. Like, you just want to have your beautiful smile and be done. So stay on top of those cleanings, and just choose someone that you are so comfortable with. I know I already said that, but I cannot stress that enough. I see so many people who they get halfway through their treatment and they're like, my orthodontist isn't listening to me, they won't answer questions, things are bothering me, and they're not helping me through, they don't seem to care. They're doing things that now they're saying I need different things that I didn't really want, and I just went the cheap way and whatever. And it's a long process. You want to, if you're going to spend all of this time in braces and do all of the work and pay all of this money, you want to enjoy it as much as possible, and you want to be able to communicate with somebody that you really feel comfortable with and you trust. So choose wisely. Get a few consultations. Most of the time they are free, and just see what's out there, see what you're comfortable with, and just enjoy it. I know, I'm almost 34 years old. I have 4 kids. And it can be, especially when you go into the orthodontist and it's full of 8-year-olds, it can be kind of strange, but just embrace it. Know that you're doing something amazing for yourself. The time is going to pass anyway, and if you don't like your smile, you're just not going to like your smile with braces for a couple of years, and then you're going to love it. So there's going to be an end in sight. So just embrace it, have fun, take photos, take videos, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks. It's about you and getting that perfect smile that you've always wanted. So I hope that was helpful. Sorry for all the little interruptions, but I hope that was helpful, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching.